Katanak machana pere. Machana pere.
I want their leader brought here. I want him brought to me. I want the revolution crushed.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Mamluks. My name is Sim. Along with me are my co-hosts, Sheikh Amr.
Assalamu alaikum.
And the one and only Sheikh Omar.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Throw a comment in the comment section below, and your and your donations to support us.
Please invest.
Invest, Sheikh. Sounds much better if it comes from you.
Yeah, just invest for the podcast, man. Invest. The more you invest, it's actually benefiting you and all of us. We don't make any money off of this. And if you want the content to keep pushing, because we all have our full-time jobs, it can get a little thin.
Yeah.
And we can get stretched out a little thin.
The subscription tiers start falling down.
The more that rolls in,
yeah.
It's not asking for a lot, just a little bit. $1 a month,
yeah.
$5 a month. Don't go to Starbucks anymore. We're boycotting it anyway.
Yeah.
But whatever coffee you get, just make it at home for one day.
Or go to a Yemeni cafe. Yeah, just $5 over there.
Yeah, but then they're not going to donate to us. Don't go there for one day.
Oh yeah. We have a new coffee shop or Yemeni chai shop, Shibam. The owner is a listener of the show.
It's a very.
So I gotta give him a shout out.
You have to.
I can't tell him not to go to his shop. His shop, for those who are not from Chicago, haven't or I think Shibam is a chain, right?
Yeah.
So
I think so.
I don't know, but this one here, it's amazing.
It's decked out very nicely.
It looks like a Emirati palace. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
It's something like, the newspapers are writing about, like, wow, this cafe opened up and it's gorgeous. It's got marble floors and
I was curious because it was open up
beautiful.
for a while. It was opening up for a long time, but then when it finally opened, I was like, okay.
And they have a place to pray.
Yeah. I love that. And that brings happiness to everyone who is praying. That the owner, sometimes the Muslim owner can say, I'm sorry, brother. Here's a few prayer mats.
Yeah.
Here, why don't you move
40-year-old, 50-year-old prayer mats.
Move the tables around and do it. But that they actually made a spot for that's really amazing. And Shibam in Bloomingdale, right?
It's in Bloomingdale, yeah. On
check them out.
North Avenue in Bloomingdale, basically.
And Sheikh, you saw the Hamza Chimaev fight.
Yeah, very impressed.
Yeah,
very, very impressed. I didn't think he was going to pull it off like that.
A lot of people were upset though. They thought that it was just too much wrestling and.
Well, the thing is that if you actually pay attention to what's happening, the dilemma is there's fans that want to watch knockouts. I get it. That's a majority of people.
It's the casuals who started watching UFC, much in the past few years as it got popular. But
but the intricacy of him, number one, pulling 3 crucifixes to elite. So look, when you're at that elite level, whether someone's an amazing wrestler or not, like if you take DDP, and his wrestling is obviously nothing compared to Hamzat, but on a championship level, you don't expect him to get taken down 14 times. Yeah, the hits were really small, majority of them 520 something hits. But the crucifix that he got him in 3 times, maybe 4 times.
Yeah.
You have to be super elite to do that to somebody who's a great champion like DDP. DDP just rolled through everybody, And I didn't think that Hamza was going to be able to take him down this easily. I thought that he prepped because he was prepping. DDP was prepping with like Olympic, level wrestlers, but I'm glad that Hamza did what he did. He utilized his wrestling, even though it seemed like he was just in one position the whole time. To maintain that position requires a lot of different levels of balances, different movements. Like I'll give you a small example. Like when you walk, and you're not able to use your pinky
Yeah.
on your toe, you realize that little small piece of flesh that's hanging off your foot, how necessary that is, and how much of a difference that makes for jumping, for instance, or like moving side to side. Any little weight that you see of like a wedge that he's putting in the ground so that DDP can't move, and then utilizing other leverage to make sure that his body can't move and stay in that position requires an immense amount of experience and physics and knowing what's happening. The fact that people think he was just holding him down, no, holding him down, doing what and how was he holding him down? Every movement that you see, like I was showing Sim while we were watching the fight, we saw it together, that there were 3 different fights that were happening in one position where Hamza had him. Meaning, there was a hand fighting taking place at the same time to get the knee position and also the feet position. All those were happening simultaneously. So there were 3 fights happening within this fight. You just saw, if you're not used to it, and I suggest that you do, just watch wrestling matches and like breakdowns. There's gonna be a breakdown of this fight too. Watch it on YouTube and see what was actually taking place of like other fights like George St. Pierre. Yeah. Watch like breakdowns of George St. Pierre and see like, even though someone may be a better wrestler than him, but the balance and the weight that Habib uses.
Yeah.
For instance, Habib, some of his opponents are stronger than him, right? But the heaviness that he puts, the weight that he puts on people because of the positioning that he has and the weight and the leverage in certain spots where he puts the weight is actually what a big portion of wrestling is, right?
Yeah.
And he proved a really big point that the king of UFC is going to be wrestlers.
Yeah, it's great.
It's going to be wrestlers.
I mean, it makes you think whether we as Muslims we're not supposed to strike each other's faces. Maybe I mean, like, we're not supposed to strike the face in combat.
I have a
right?
comment for that from when we were watching the fight.
and I'm telling Sheikh, I'm like, Hamza could be like giving him really good punches, but instead he's giving these taps on his face, and I'm like, Sheikh, this is why we should be issuing these fatwas.
You should be hitting him so hard in the face. Like, man, these Chechens, they don't like to hit in the face because they're Muslims, so they're going light on him. He could have been destroying right now. Sim was pissed off about that.
He could have been dropping some bombs on him, man, and he wasn't. I'm like, man, like, this is because I know you could tell the Dagestani and these fighters, they don't like, they'll do it, but they don't like to do it.
Yeah.
They want to rely on their wrestling. They want to prove that wrestling is the best form of martial arts.
I want to avoid hitting the face and the head. You're right.
Yeah. So it was good to see because Hamza is a guy who has been championing Gaza. He's one of the guys back in 2023. He had this video that came out right here.
Thanks in my country, Chechnya. Allah rescue nochi masana da sidoshu. Tagan kus habekna tsabol shaduku nakba. Pacha. Allah rescue da sidola. Und haytan hokchwalatam khaladat. Allah has proved Wallahi ugar piros dawa mosiki. Haydel du alwo suegers Palestine dawa. Country, Chechnya. Allah rescue nochi masana da sidoshu. Tagan kus habekna tsabol shaduku nakba. Pacha. Allah rescue da sidola. Und haytan hokchwalatam khaladat. Allah has proved
Allah allows me to Wallahi to go to Palestine. By Allah, give me a rifle and let me go to Palestine. Yeah. So he's basically saying that if he had the chance, he would go and fight, and he's just a beautiful guy, and I'm wondering if he got that Emirati flag as a way to bring awareness to Gaza without actually having to say it.
A lot of people thought that he was holding a Palestinian flag because they weren't able to see the cut, the triangle that's on that flag. So a lot of people were confusing it for the Palestinian flag anyway. Even one of the announcers or one of the guys who were commenting, one of the commentators.
John Anik, one of our he's I think John Anik knew, but he might have just
maybe, you never know.
He might have just said it. Because a lot of people secretly want to say something, but they don't want to cause any problems, right? Yeah. So they're kind of helping in whatever way they can.
But that fear is going away a little bit. The more and more people see what's happening, and it's. I'll talk about it later in the podcast, but
I mean, at least what happened recently with the whole situation in Las Vegas, where a Israeli cybersecurity
Good old
official.
Tom.
Yeah, Tom Alexandrovich.
Yeah.
He was visiting Las Vegas for a cybersecurity conference. It's one of the biggest cybersecurity conferences that happens all year. I've been to one a couple years ago in Vegas, and it's something that is like it's every cybersecurity professional has to. It's like you go and do hijra over there.
It's like it's not for you guys.
Yeah. So he goes to this conference, and he's like on another mission. He's not he's not there to hack anyone. He's not there to protect anyone. That he's trying to invade the take advantage of young girls. Basically, the girl he was targeting was 15 or 16 years old. He
and it's not his first rodeo. He's done it, multiple. It's not like this is his first time,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, well, the analysts that were speaking about it were saying that somebody who goes there just for that, and they understand, he knows he has a safe haven when he goes back to Israel. Nothing's going to happen to him. Yeah. But somebody who goes out of their way and gets caught for this is not their first time getting caught.
Yeah,
they're vetted in this. It just happened to be, and look at the way that Allah belittled this person. He's supposed to be cybersecurity. He's supposed to be about safety, protecting people, and all that kind of stuff. And cybersecurity is nothing. It's a child that he was illegally going after. So. I think all these things are being shown, and he gets off pretty easily. Gets a slap on the wrist. He's going to go back to Israel. People have been talking about, and they didn't really believe. They really couldn't believe that Israel is just a safe haven for all these, sexual deviants and people who, commit lots of sexual crimes. They can just get a safe haven if they're Israeli, and they just get even if they commit those in America. So,
well, basically, there's a bit more to that story, because the Nevada Attorney General was appointed by the Trump administration, and she didn't get vetted at all through Congress or anything. There was no approval. They have this committee where they ask questions and stuff, and then they basically give the stamp of approval on these appointments. She didn't have any of this vetting process. She was an Israeli. She is an Israeli citizen. Her name was Sigal Chatta, Sigal.
Yeah.
And so Sigal basically didn't bother taking his passport or anything away, because that's what's supposed to happen. Like, after you get you give your bail, and I think he gave like $10,000 on bail, and they're
all in the club.
Yeah, and
you ain't in it.
They called the White House. The Israelis called the White House. The White House called old Sigal. Sigal knows what to do. She's an Israeli. They take care of each other. Yeah. They take care of their own. So Sigal ends up sending him on his flight. Doesn't bother taking his passport.
Just chilling.
Yeah.
Relaxing. Not a worry in the world.
Yeah. So he didn't have diplomatic immunity. Some people originally said that, he's got diplomatic immunity, he can't be charged. No, he didn't have diplomatic immunity. So and
the world sees it.
And the Israelis didn't arrest him.
Oh, they wouldn't.
They put him on leave when he got back to Israel.
Only because if he got away with it, no one would ever talk about it. If he got away with this, no one would ever talk about it. There would never be this leave that they have to show for optics and just show people, where he's getting. No, because the whole American public knows now. The American public, the whole world knows what these people are now.
Yeah.
And it's not. That's what I'm saying. People aren't shy anymore to, talk about this stuff.
They position themselves. The Israelis have positioned themselves into key positions of power all across the United States, and it's very apparent to everyone now. Everyone knows, okay, they're going to be taken care of. They have a separate set of rules, and everyone else is living by another set of rules.
Democracy.
And Netanyahu's government said, nothing happened. He was just questioned by the American officials, and he was let go, and he came back on his regularly scheduled appointment. So this is how the kind of liars they are. Their whole, if you can understand that the United States presidency, Donald Trump, is compromised by the Israeli government. I mean, what's the Nevada Attorney General? Nothing compared to, you have key aspects of the United States completely occupied, and nobody gives a damn.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, there are a lot of people who do, but not the powerful individuals who actually have the ability to do something.
And a lot of those people, when they're about to get burnt, then they're going to start talking about it. They're not going to talk about it now when it's difficult to talk about it.
Yeah, when it's their kid that gets nabbed up by an Israeli pedophile.
Oh, yeah. But not only that, I'm saying, like, right now there's people that were talking about it. There's journalists that have been talking about it from the beginning, and they had everything to lose, right? There's a lot of people who still have a lot to lose. Those people in government and power who have a lot to lose, they're not going to talk about it right now. They're not going to blow the cover on anything until it gets like, okay, I'm going to look really, really bad. I have to do it now.
It's strange because...
I don't think so. No, they would not talk about it even then as well. As long as their position and their seat is on the line, or they're up for re-election, they're not going to talk about it.
I don't think even then, a lot of these elected officials and stuff, they're still, even if their position is they're going to lose their seat in Congress, they're so scared of Israel and AIPAC that they'll take that hit. They'll lose it because they know they'll be taken care of from them. As long, or at least they don't want to make an enemy of them for the life, where they're going to be completely coming after them repeatedly.
Yeah.
So instead of that, they're like, you know what? That's what essentially what Kamala Harris did. Kamala Harris didn't want to make an enemy for life with the Israelis. That's how scared they are. Because all she had to do was say a couple things. She didn't have to do a whole lot to appease the pro-Palestine crowd.
You're right.
She wouldn't even do that much. She wouldn't throw a scrap to them.
Yeah. It would be really easy because Joe Biden was known as Genocide Joe.
Yeah.
And they were still confused, should we elect her or not? All she had to do was say a little bit. And
a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a smidge. And she wouldn't. And that incensed her base. And a lot of people were upset by it. And I know there are people who say, oh, well, Gaza is not a voting issue. It was for many people. It was especially for Democrats.
Yeah.
For the Democratic base, it was a big issue. So I mean, this country has a rude awakening coming, where people are going to have to figure out how to uproot the influence of AIPAC out of this country. Like, how do you root this problem out? You know?
Yeah, I think there's so much infrastructure built on America, Israel, and the amount of Zionists that are in government. I don't know. I don't like to be like completely morbid about everything, but to me it seems obvious that this is the beginning of the end, right, for the empire. That's what I feel. I think that everybody sees what was to be hidden for a lot. Like, people always knew there was crookedness. They didn't know it was at this level, right? And people didn't have so much distrust until now. And there have been so many people who are closeted, even on the MAGA side, even though MAGA is being split, but even the people who are showing support, even they're closeted a lot. I think if you were to be like honest, 80% of American politicians, active politicians and inactive politicians, know what is actually happening with Zionism, and they don't believe half of what they say, right? Yeah. And I think they're completely against it, but they're closeted. And that's I think at least 80% of people.
Did you hear what happened to Sean King's tweets?
What happened to his tweets?
The Israeli government apparently called up Elon Musk, and so Sean King came up with these piece of evidence related to the arrest of this guy Tom Alexandrovich, this pedophile, and so X, led by Elon Musk, basically deleted his tweets where he posted the evidence of what happened, and this is the level of influence this country has, these Israelis have over the United States. That's wild.
Wow, that is crazy. The only social media platform that's touted to have ultimate free speech. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and the idea, just the influence that the Israelis have on the tech sector should be very scary for Americans, because they're implementing mass surveillance all across the world they're getting everyone to sign up to specific platforms where they have their officials in charge in high places of power within these tech companies, where all your data is going through, and they'll be able to figure out everything and anything.
So if we can backtrack a little bit, I just want to pick your guys' brain a little bit, both of you guys. You just said something really interesting of X and Elon Musk complicit of deleting Sean King's research, his revelations regarding this criminal, Tom Adroniovich, whatever his name is. Someone can ask the question, Elon Musk is so powerful and so influential. How does somebody have that much influence? Like, how does that work? How does that dynamic work? And why does he have to listen to them if he's so powerful? He's the richest man in the world, or maybe second richest now, whatever. He's the richest man in the world.
Ultimately,
why does he have to listen to them?
So you have to decide how many people you want to make enemies. Even if you could be incredibly powerful and stuff, but no one's invincible, right? And you have to decide which battles you want to pick. Ultimately, Elon will bend the knee to countries who are upset with Twitter and allowing dissidents on their platform. For example, I think Brazil had was it Brazil or Argentina? I can't remember. One of these South American countries had was ready to ban Twitter all across their country if this dissenter wasn't deplatformed. So eventually, Twitter got rid of him, and they silenced him.
No, I think he can be the most richest person in the world. He or anyone can be the most richest person in the world. But I think if you look at it holistically, power always trumps wealth. You can be however rich he is now. He can be twice as much, or even 4 times as much. At the end of the day, power takes over wealth. 100%. You can only get so far with the money that you have. And a good example of that is what happened with him and Trump, right? They were going back and forth, and then he realized he cannot win this because, the government is much more powerful than the individual. The government, what it has at its disposal, is much more than what an individual can have at its disposal.
So let me ask you this then. That's a great observation. Now, I know people have talked about this for a long time, but what is it that makes Israel that powerful that they can surpass and jump over all of these hurdles and free speech platforms and have X control and get rid of that research that Sean King did? Like, what power? What type of power do they possess? What is that power considered to be? Like, what is that power? Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? Where does that power lie? How do they have? Like, what is this type of power called? What is it referred to that you can do that?
Well, it's a type of, like, soft power. Is that what you're talking about? Like,
I mean, whatever it is. What type of power does somebody have to tell X to remove this, even though it's supposed to be a free speech platform, to go against your own principles?
Oh, I mean, that's just influence, right? I mean, what you do is, if you don't listen, if you don't comply, well, then, remember the hearings that they had with TikTok? TikTok had a big problem with anti-Semitism because people didn't like the criticism of Israel and Zionism. So they started threatening to shut down TikTok. And what do you hear in the past few weeks that TikTok did? TikTok hired an IDF spokesperson to basically, an IDF official or some capacity. She had affiliations with and is an Israeli citizen. Now she's content moderator of all of TikTok.
Wow.
So that's how they control you. They basically let you know that, hey, if you want to operate in our country, if you want to make money, you can make money, but this is how you're going to be making money. This is basic bullying that the Israelis and the Americans do. Look at what they're doing with India.
She was hired on as a hate policy chief.
Hate policy.
But to some of that power,
hate speech policy chief.
Yeah. So she's going to basically
Determine
completely,
what's considered as hate speech, and
or even if it's not hate speech, she will limit the ability or the what they call the reach. The reach is basically the amount of people your anti-Israel comment can go. Even if it's like super violent and people are sharing it, if it gets flagged as anti-Israel, it'll only go so far and die.
So it's part of the power that, like, in order to do that, in order to pull those strings, what I'm getting also towards is, do you think that having people in compromising situations is a part of that power? Right? Like, because a lot of people say, oh, everybody's, I don't think this is all of it, but a lot of people say, oh, the reason why Trump has to do this and they have to make these moves for the sake of Israel is because they're all compromised. You hear that all the time. They're all compromised. I think that's obviously a little hyperbolic. But do you think that power structure can't survive without having very influential people compromised?
I don't think it's hyperbolic anymore. I think there are people, and it's no longer a situation where, oh, I'm just going to fund your opponent in the next election. I think they have incriminating evidence with a lot of these politicians, a lot of powerful individuals who like to mess around with kids, with children. And when you have that kind of evidence against you, it's basically a death sentence.
Can I ask one more question? I don't want to harp on this one. So what, don't you think that Elon Musk, in my simple mind, I'm thinking if Elon Musk was to give them the finger and be like, no, I'm not going to do it, and then announce to the world that, hey, this is what these people are trying to do, don't you think he'd become a hero if he did that?
Well, he may be a hero for a couple days, but then then he'll feel the wrath. Because,
his businesses will be impacted.
Yeah, his businesses will be impacted. Even if they don't get impacted right away, they slowly undercut you, slowly cut you off at your knees, and you're be severely restricted. Dan Bilzerian was one of those guys who said a lot of anti-Semitic things that upset a lot of people. He lost millions for it, but he said, I don't care anymore. He's got a decent amount of wealth, but he could have had a lot more. He could have had a lot more. So a lot of rich people know that in order to make money, you have to make the Israelis happy. And so you're seeing this type of bullying with India right now, how India is importing all this oil from Russia, and Trump is threatening or has levied all these, I think, isn't it 50%?
50%.
Yeah, 50% increase in taxes on India. And it's funny because the United States is still importing not oil, but rare minerals from Russia. So why is it a different rule for India and not the United States? Just because you need rare minerals, so you can take it from Russia, but India can't, because America already has a whole lot of oil. India doesn't have oil. So it's these duplicitous, hypocritical stances where America just pushes people around, and eventually the world's going to have enough of it, and it sounds like India is just ignoring it. India's still keeping that oil. They're letting the Americans do their tariffs and stuff that they've threatened, and it's going to come back and bite in America at the end. They're thinking that it's going to hurt these countries, whether it's India or otherwise, but
yeah, but the crazy thing is, like, I think that it's I know what you're saying, but obviously we're not in agreement with this. But any empire needs to do whatever it can, even whether it's evil or good, in order to maintain its power. But I think that power is, people see that the power is vanishing little by little because people are rebelling. People are starting to talk about these things openly. They're talking about the games that are being played with the powers that may be. Yeah. And I think it worked for a while, but now that everything's out in the open, it's not working in the advantage anymore. And that empire is no longer an empire that was able to get away with things anymore.
Exactly. They're thinking that America's under the illusion that they're 1970s America, 1980s America, which was really powerful and could definitely pull this kind of stuff off. But
that's the problem with being in a bubble.
Now what happens is that you're going to make these threats, and you're not going to be able to back them up. And people will be like, "Oh, we smell blood in the water now.
Yeah.
We smell blood in the water. We can start doing more." How many? China's going to start pushing more, angling more, making moves on Taiwan as the United States gets more and more entangled in Ukraine and other wars. I think they're now planning on deposing the what's his name, Bolsonaro.
From Brazil?
Yeah.
Bolsonaro, yeah.
No, not Bolsonaro. The other guy.
From Argentina?
Argentina.
What's his name again? I just read that today. I forgot his name.
They put a reward on his head. Maduro. Maduro, sorry. Maduro's not in Argentina. It's Venezuela. So but with Maduro, they're planning on invading his country. Like they're insisting that it's not boots on the ground, but I think they committed like a few thousand soldiers to the whole Maduro thing, because Maduro said after they put like a $40 million bounty on his head, or $4.5 million, I can't remember, but they matched it and said whoever releases the Epstein files will give you the same amount.
Wow.
So funny.
Speaking of a new layer of the Epstein files, did you hear about that? The new layer that came out about how Jeffrey Epstein was actually dating Melania Trump for like a year and had a relationship with her before he got involved with her. I was like, no wonder why he's trying to keep this stuff on wraps. He probably, dude, you know what probably happened? I think Epstein owned him, and he was Epstein's B. Yeah. That he made him get married to Melania.
Oh man,
as like
wouldn't that be something?
As a threat, because he had relations with her first, and he's like,
"What if
take the seconds?"
What if she was groomed as a child?
That's crazy.
What if she was like trafficked?
Yeah.
We're just hypothetical. We're not
like Macron and Brigitte Macron.
Wow. What if Macron was trafficked?
He was, dude.
Poor Macron.
He was by Brigitte Macron. Did you watch it?
Yeah,
did you hear
I watched it.
How many did you?
Becoming Bridget? Did
yes,
you watch
Brigitte.
it?
Yes.
How many parts did you see?
I regret wasting my time watching
Get out of
such
here.
nonsense.
This guy, bro.
I strongly disagree.
Really? Strongly?
I strongly disagree.
Tell me at least 3
with
holes,
your love
bro.
for this.
Tell me at least 3 holes in this game. Tell me at least 3 holes.
The presenter itself.
Come on,
That's
man.
a big red
Forget
flag.
the presenter, fine. If the presenter was something else.
Candace, man. We got to give her Dawa.
Her and Tucker, I think they're
I sought forgiveness
after
for wasting my time
watching her and
that.
Tucker and listening to basically every podcast of theirs in the past 2 years. They are actually, I don't think they're actually really, really devout Christians. I think they're using it for their base. I think a lot of people fell for it. I don't think they're actually really, really devout Christians. If you actually research Candace Owens' husband too,
Really?
I looked at him like something's wrong with this dude. There's a lot of people that research on him. He's actually a pretty crooked dude too.
Oh yeah. What's he into?
So he was obviously. I think he was involved with like the mafia and like helping out the mafia with a lot of stuff. He's a billionaire.
But that's good. There could be a lot of like misinformation being
there
put
could
in.
Definitely. That's why I'm just waiting for that
the
stuff to come out.
pro-Israelis putting out all. You know, when you piss off Israel, they're going to find all kinds of evidence to discredit you.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm still just reading up and watching some videos that are supposed to be coming up.
The thing is, like, going against Israel is the opposite of things that you would want to do to make money. And I think
there's a crowd of people. Unfortunately, there's a crowd of people that are making money because they're not as wealthy as huge companies. Some of them, they'll get enough of a base to give them a lot of money to go against Israel.
Yeah, I mean, look, but still, like long term, you'll make a lot more money supporting Israel.
Yeah,
to be in their good graces. Individual presenters. There's so many people there's that one journalist named Bree.
Bree Reed. Joy Reid? No, not
Bree. She left the
Hill,
the YouTube channel, The Hill.
Yeah.
She was criticizing Israel and stuff.
Yeah.
All these people, you get fast tracked to like stardom. And she's like incredibly well spoken, eloquent, and has 50 different facts that she can talk about on any subject. But they cut her. Because she refused to bend the knee. But and there it goes that way for all these guys, yeah. And there's like channels like Breaking Points, but they're listener funded. A lot of people support them. A lot of pro-Palestine people are supporting them because it gives them that independence to say what they want.
And one thing about them, ever since the conflict, every day they've been covering something about Palestine. Every day.
Yeah.
There's not a single day that has gone by for the past 2 years that they didn't cover something about Palestine.
Yeah.
So they're in it. They're in it. And those guys, they're obviously facing a lot too behind the scenes, from what I understand. But
the Young Turks as well. They've started focusing all their attention on that.
Yeah.
All these major YouTube channels are facing the heat, and they're getting death threats from IDF soldiers, and they're getting all kinds of different threats, even financially. So
it's a completely different game now, right? Like, I mean, I read an article recently about how there's a huge generational divide, basically.
Oh, sorry, I had to kill that mosquito.
There's
I got it.
There's a huge generational divide between the older generation and the current younger generation.
Yeah.
In terms of where they're getting the news from, and what's really shaping their views. And the younger, that's why all of this, you just talked about, TikTok hiring this person to moderate the content. Similarly, X is moderating the content. What's the reason why this is happening is to control the flow of information and to try to change the tide that we're seeing, because the younger generation is not buying this BS anymore.
Yeah,
they're not. It's the older crowd who's still stuck with the cable news, with the Fox News and CNN and MSDNC and those types of sources, and that's all they have. And that's why, if you look at it, this was one of the smartest strategies that Trump had adopted for his re-election, because he went on all these podcasts that no one thought, or many people thought that this was a bad idea for him to do this.
No, he knew what he was doing.
But he went and he spoke to them, because he knows that those are the people, that's the audience he needs to target. Those are the people he needs, their votes, that he needs on his side to get reelected. And that's exactly what he did. And this is why it's important for our listeners to fund independent shows like this one. Because you guys have any sponsors? I don't know, I'm just a guest here. Do you guys have any sponsors?
No, we don't.
Why not?
We don't like to be told what to do by sponsors.
No, I think people. No, there's obviously, look, I've told these guys a few times too. There's people that are willing to sponsor. They saw a few episodes. This was during the LGBTQ thing. We were talking openly about that stuff, and they're like, you know what, we like what you guys are doing, but we don't want to be. We can't have our company be associated with this kind of stuff. You know, it happens. And even with this type of, when we talk about Israel openly, we call Israel a terrorist state. People don't want to have their company behind that. They're scared, right?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, people are picking up references like this that Israelis have been making. Here's a reference to an old Seinfeld skit.
I was wondering why Seinfeld was on the screen.
One sec.
Is he a sponsor?
He's a hardcore Zionist.
You got some lip reader working for you. You gotta let me use it for one day, just one day.
Can't do it, Newman.
But Jerry, we got this new supervisor down at the post office. He's working behind this glass. I know they're talking about me. They're gonna transfer me, I know it. 2 hours, give me 2 hours.
It's not gonna happen.
All right, you go ahead. You keep it secret. But you remember this. When you control the mail, you control information.
See that? Sorry. Yeah. Basically, when you control cybersecurity, when you control the internet, you control information.
Yeah. It's literally that. That's insane. I was just talking to ChatGPT, man, and I was like, man, it's so skewed in one direction.
Imagine how much information ChatGPT knows about us now.
Yeah.
Imagine it can create a profile.
Yeah, it already created.
Perfect.
Did you ever ask about
you.
Mamluks?
Yeah, it knows a lot about it.
Did you ever ask ChatGPT about Mamluks? It's crazy, and it changes every month.
Yeah. It comes up with new information. Yeah, it's wild. And once AI starts scanning all these YouTube videos, and it's going to be insane.
Yeah, it's already begun. Yeah. I was able to fetch some episodes based on Palestine and this and that. Our good buddy Imad is on a few of those.
Oh yeah,
entries on my computer.
So you heard that they're going to be invading Gaza City soon, the Israelis.
Yeah.
So they've, I think, recalled 16,000 reservists in preparation for that.
Yeah, I had this in my notes, man. I apologize, but yeah. Yeah. Launch a long-anticipated ground offensive against Gaza City. The operation, ordered by Defense Minister Israel Katz and Prime Minister Netanyahu, comes with a massive mobilization of 60,000 reservists.
60,000.
Summoned, joining hundreds of thousands already in theater. Current military position. Israel forces have taken control over parts of the city's outskirts, including areas like Sabra and Zaytun, and are intensifying operations across Gaza City. The toll as far as humanitarian levels, since the war resumed in March, Gaza has endured staggering casualties, estimated tens of thousands dead, with infrastructure and civilian life in shambles. Obviously, that's what's been accounted for so far. What's the new percentage? I said I think they're saying 30% to 40% of people are unaccounted for because of rubble.
At least
20%
from the overall deaths and missing people. Because what the Gaza Health Ministry does is they only count the bodies that they received. They don't count people who've been left on the rubble or left somewhere else or in a battlefield somewhere or are missing. They don't count those numbers.
Yeah, and I mean, the whole ceasefire and temporary breaks. That's all. Everybody knows that's been a joke, right? Hamas. This happened. I think this is the sixth time this happened during this genocide. Sixth or seventh time that Hamas accepted a ceasefire proposal mediated by Egypt and Qatar for this time, basically confirmed for August 20th. And the escalating conflict has drawn sharp international criticism. Even Israeli tensions, internal dissent is growing, which is trying to be covered as much as possible. Covered in the sense of not allowing too much information on that side from Israel for the protests, and people even mourning of what the impact that IDF had on Palestinians. There's been obviously vigils and all that kind of stuff, which nobody in Israel is trying to make hush hush and actually prosecuting and persecuting people, Israeli citizens, Jews, and former Zionists, and prosecuting them for raising awareness. So I think there's supposed to be some more information that.
Well, Israelis had a huge protest in Israel over the war. I don't think they want to be sending their kids to Gaza City.
Yeah.
They're for genocide and ethnic cleansing.
80% of the population.
Yeah.
Is genocidal, in the sense of they want this to continue, and they want it.
But they don't want their kids to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
They want someone else's.
There's always a reason. Yeah.
Get the Americans to do it or something, or the Arabs to do it. But effectively, they want. They don't want their kids to do it. So, 60,000 reservists, and they've already begun the invasion of Gaza City. So, it's already underway. But I don't imagine it going very well. It's very difficult with the tunnel network that Qassam has set up. It's going to be a bloodbath for them. I'm not saying they're not going to eventually emerge, and the Israelis. I think that the reason why they're putting 60,000 boots on the ground is because there's going to be a lot of casualties, and the Israeli public knows it.
I had just come across this, but anyways, I can't remember where I read this, but you could read multiple sources right now online, where this is the part that I found kind of crazy, is that the Qassam brigades actually launched an attack in Gaza City where some of the Israelis were hiding out, and like you said, it was the beginning of a bloodbath. There was lots of casualties on the IDF side, in the Israeli army, but this is the crazy part. I never thought in the comments that I would have just random people with non-Muslim names, right, saying it's about time, and how is it that these guys, people, they tried so hard to, vilify Hamas and the brigades so much that they're starting to get a following. There's this emergence that was already there from the beginning. Some of it was coming from the left, right? But now they're like openly commenting with their names and their emails and everything. And it's like, this is kind of crazy. I didn't think that people were going to be brave enough yet to do that. But when there's these attacks happening now, they're actually praising Hamas, and like this is all tied into this web of people seeing and being felt duped and seeing how evil this entity is. And now they're like, we don't care if we get canceled. Go Hamas, right? So that's kind of crazy. I didn't think that was going to happen this early, but it's happening.
It's wild.
Wild West.
Let's switch topics. We want to talk about this elected official who came. We had an Eid Bazaar here in Naperville. And Sheikh, why don't you I think you'll do a better job explaining what
You're the one who kind of brought this to our attention.
I don't know anything about it.
Oh, you don't know anything about it? Oh, never mind then. I guess we're not talking about it.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, here in the Chicagoland area, we had an event called Halal Fest. Was it called Halal Fest? Halal Fest, yeah. So this event was organized by the Illinois Muslim Chamber of Commerce, an organization whose stated mission is to support and promote economic growth and development of Muslim businesses and entrepreneurs, which is great, which is needed. There's nothing wrong with that. And they've done some great work. And this is actually, I believe, the third year that they have held this event. Right? I know some of the brothers on there. I spoke to one of them. I'm not going to mention his name, but he is on the board of the organization. I spoke to him about this, about what we were going to talk about. So first and foremost, what I want to mention before we start talking about this is that this is constructive criticism that we want to give to them. This is not bashing the organization, calling for any boycott against them or retaliation or anything of that nature. This is just an observation that was made that was really poor judgment on their part, which sends a pretty bad message. Whether it was intentional or unintentional, I would like to think that it was unintentional, but the damage was done. Whether they understand it or not, whether people understand it or not, that's a different thing. But if you look at it, it just sends a bad message overall. So what had happened was, this was an event that was held, and they had about 20,000 people that showed up. That's a lot of people. So let's understand this. This is a event that is being held, even though it is open for public. You have majority Muslims that are going to come there. Although you do have non-Muslims coming there as well, it's majority Muslims. Event that is being held by Muslims. The organizers are the organizers of the event are Muslims, right? And they are in charge of the event, right? So of course, they had some local officials, from the Naperville community and the surrounding neighborhoods that came and spoke in support of the event and all of that, which is all fine. Like we are living in the neighborhood, and we have to support each other and be there for each other. That's perfectly fine. But what happened was, one of the officials that spoke at the event is Congressman Bill Foster. For those of you who don't know, Bill Foster is an elected official, he's a Democratic official, who's also funded by AIPAC. Do you know what AIPAC is?
Asia Pacific?
Asia Pacific, yeah. We work with those guys.
Oh, okay. But he's not Asian, though. Do you know what AIPAC is?
Asia Pacific. That's what you're, just be very clear what you're referring to.
No, he's talking about the lobbying group, Sheikh.
The Asian Pacific Lobbying Group?
The American Israeli Political Action Committee.
Yeah, the AIPAC, for those of you who don't know, is the American Israeli, what is it? Political Action Committee, right?
Yeah.
So they basically support and endorse candidates that are going to promote and present their agenda.
And spend billions of dollars doing so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So according to the latest records, this guy, he had received about $551,744. Okay. In addition to that, he has voted on every single resolution that was presented, whether it was in terms of more weapons. He voted for that, even though some people from his own party did not vote for it. But his excuse was, "Oh, we're only voting for defensive weapons." So that was his excuse. And then even when the criminal that came here of the Zionist entity, and he gave a talk, many people from his own party boycotted his talk. But he went and attended, and he said that he wanted to be respectful of the person who's committing the massacre.
To Satan
Huh?
To Satan Yahoo.
Yeah, I don't want to mention the name. I don't like to mention the name at all. Mm-hmm. But he wanted to be respectful to him. He didn't want to offend him, because after all, he gave him his people gave him $500,000, so he doesn't want to offend him, right? So this is the type of person who we're talking to. Now, if you meet this person, he's like the most nicest person you probably ever met. I met him personally a few years ago. He came to one of the events at the masjid. So he's a nice person. And you feel like he's on your side. He's gonna support the Muslims.
Politician. He's a good politician.
Oh yes. Yeah. But his actions don't reflect what he's saying. So not only this, so he voted for all of this, and then just 1 week before this event, he held a town hall, and that town hall, just like as it has been happening to many of the elected officials, it was repeatedly interrupted by people asking for his position on what is happening in Palestine and his support for the ongoing killing of innocent men, women, and children. And it was repeatedly interrupted. Okay, just 1 week before. But now what happens 1 week after that? 1 week after that, he's given a platform to come and talk to the Muslims. What he talked about, I don't know. I was not there. But here's what happened. Here's where it goes really wrong. Now, the same guy, he posts on his social media that with 20,000 strong attending, he attended an event and it was great. And congratulations to the organization who organized it and all of that. And people get all excited and happy about it. Look, we're being recognized. But indirectly, the message that is being given, especially to the ones who are protesting and who are calling out, who are calling him out, is that you guys are stupid, because you're telling me, you keep interrupting my speeches and my talks, and asking me questions about my support and my position in Palestine. But look at this. I just attended this event where 20,000 Muslims were there, and then I spoke to them, and they had no problem with it. Why are you protesting?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. That's why we need, that's the reason why we talk about these things, is to make sure that we uncover a reality that's happening to people in front of them in plain sight, right? It may seem like, oh, this is a really nice guy. And like you said, this is giving us recognition. And we always hear, now this is going to be very different now. In the 90s, even up until recent, people used to say, well, we have to be exactly like the Jews. How did the Jews do it? How did the Jews... Now we know what they had to do in order to get popular. Are you willing to make all those sacrifices and selling out your deen? Because this is the footsteps that you want to follow. This is how the Jews... Remember how many times we used to hear that?
Yeah.
This is how the Jews did it. We have to have them come and talk to us, the politicians, because that's exactly how the Jews did it. I heard that maybe 1,000,000 times in my life. And so that's the first thing, right? The second thing is, like you mentioned, very, very important. There's multiple things being set as a precedent, is that a 20,000
over a period of 2 days, like not 20,000 were all there at the same time, but it was a major event.
Yeah. And these people didn't have a problem with it. You guys are crazy. Why do you guys have a problem with it? You had all types of supporters here of Palestine, and Palestinians probably attended, Palestinian Americans and whatnot, and you shouldn't have a problem with it. And the other is that do you think that this person, because he's getting over $500,000 from AIPAC, you think that AIPAC doesn't know and he doesn't have to send in reports of where he attended and what he did and the type of things that he talked about, and they probably know the script of what he was supposed to do and what he's supposed to talk about? If he's getting paid that much by AIPAC, you think AIPAC is not going to want to know if we're over the span of 2 days, 20,000 Muslims who are all of them are probably supporters of the Palestinians and against the genocide of Zionism? You think that they're not expecting a report back from him and they're like in direct connection to all the places that he went because they gave that much money? You think they're just going to give him over $500,000 and be like, yeah, go and talk to whoever we want. We don't care. No, they want to know.
And you know, the most, one of the other disturbing parts of this is like, this occurred on the same weekend, on the same week that the entire world was talking about the forced blockade and the famine that was occurring, where people were dying, literally dying, because there was no food that was being allowed in. And on that same weekend, you have something like this that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, what message are we giving to our own community, who for close to 2 years now have been out there? They've been protesting. They've been talking about this. They're donating. Everyone is doing whatever they can. And on the other hand, you do stuff like this, which basically, it cancels everything out. What do we stand for then?
A pro-Zionist and a Muslim
where
platform.
are our principles? Like, why can we not take a principled stand, saying that, look, even if he was there, because I talked to, I'll tell you this, I'll give him some credit, because I talked to one of the brothers that I know personally, and he told me that he has already put this on the agenda, that they're going to talk about this internally in their post meeting, which has happened, which hasn't, as far as I know, has not happened yet, and I respect that, and I commend them for that. But the problem is that one of the explanations that was given is that they were not aware that he was going to be there, or he came as a guest of someone else, but then he was given it doesn't matter. It's your event. You control the event. No one gets the microphone without your permission.
Yeah.
Otherwise, who's in charge of the event?
Yeah, but can I say something about that too? Because from the past, I think that this is something really important. Yes, you should know. You should do your research, but you have to understand the way you're well read about what's happening. A lot of these people, they don't see him as a regular politician that's coming, and they're going to get better exposure for Muslims. And some people have a good intention. Some people think that this is good exposure for Muslim Chamber of Commerce and whatever.
I'm sure.
No. But so check this out though. But the thing is, from now, once this comes into light, I think for any organization, for us or for anybody, when something like this is uncovered, you have to be humble and you have to be like your friend said, this is going to be on the agenda. We have to talk about this. We didn't know about this. And as a believer, we have to take him on his face value. He actually didn't know. He's a believer. We have to believe him, right?
No, I believe him 100%.
No, I know you do. But I'm saying is, now the test begins. And I kind of feel bad for them in the sense of this is where the test begins is arrogance going to get the best of them and be like, who's this guy to tell us about this? Screw him. Because that becomes a big problem. Because now he's proven that he's AIPAC funded, he's pro-Zionist, all that kind of stuff. Or you can take the high road and take a hit for the team and be like, you know what, we kind of messed up. We actually didn't know. We just thought this was a politician. He sneaked through the cracks, sleazy individual. Sneak through the cracks.
Because he's known in the, like, he frequently visits the masajids and all of that.
So they probably didn't do research on him. Because they were like, oh, he's always with the Muslim community.
Yeah.
So
a friend of the Muslim community. Right?
But he's not a friend. Yeah, he's not, obviously, none of these people are friends when they're getting AIPAC money because they're pro-Zionist then.
But look, a more powerful and a more impactful position could have easily be taken, like we talked about in one of the previous episodes about what happened in Plainfield when that child was murdered. When he was murdered, and the White House rep came and he was given a platform. He was given a platform to talk. Again, the same thing happens. Why can we not have the courage to, even if this guy came, let's say he was not invited, let's say he came along with someone and they asked him, because we have a lot of our own people. I've experienced this firsthand. Any event, like the iftars that the masajids have in Ramadan, where we have non-Muslims that visit, which is great, which we should be doing that, right? But sometimes you have our own people, our Muslims, who are just looking to get some sort of spotlight or some sort of credit. They bring other politicians with them, and they try to insert them into the programs. Oh, he's here, he's this. Can he speak for a couple of minutes? No, he can't. We have a program here that we need to follow.
But brother, if you ask them the question, do you take money from AIPAC and do you support, and you want to answer from them, that's going to put a bad reputation on the Muslims. That goes all the years that we worked to become influential in America. That goes against everything. So we can't do that. Okay.
I'm sorry.
We can't do that.
But I have.
We have to be like the Jews. Okay.
I'm sorry.
We have to do what they did.
The same thing happened with.
Well, take your topi off then. Wear it correctly. If you're wearing it wrong,
you got to shift it to the back.
Yes.
Convertible.
But let me tell you, I have a suggestion, and I could be wrong in this. Maybe we could tell these guys that, like for example, this guy who came, right? Why can we not tell this person, we thank you for coming to the event, right? We thank you for coming to the event, and we would love to give you the platform to speak to our audience, but unfortunately we cannot because of your actions and what we have to face. What we're facing from our community. That would be much more impactful than you just rolling over and yes sir, please talk to us, tell us how you voted to murder us some more. Why can we not take that position? That is going to be much more respectful and courageous position than anything that you could do. You would be doing so much without actually doing anything.
Same thing happened with this lady, Alyssa Slotkin in Michigan. Remember when she came on Breaking Points and she went viral with that interview where Crystal Ball completely grilled her and skewered her for her support, and so she referred back to her constituents and her Muslim constituents supporting her. Well, you're an AIPAC candidate. How are Muslims supporting you? Same thing's happening over there, because I thought, what happened over here in Naperville was just, okay, some uncles just don't know any better. They don't know about AIPAC. But this is a problem. It's emblematic of a problem that's happening all across the country, where these leaders of these mosques don't really understand, not all of them, some of these mosques, they don't understand what's actually happening underneath. That these congressmen and women and senators are completely bought out, and they're not doing anything for what's really important to your people. And it just makes you wonder, like, how much, like he said, there's people who put pressure on their leaders, on their local leaders, who in turn tell their congressmen and women and their senators what's important to their community. You want our votes. This is what they're upset about. This. I'm sorry, we can't give you the microphone. We really appreciate you coming and supporting our event, but unfortunately, they're pretty upset about you receiving money from AIPAC. How about you return that money back to AIPAC and start championing the causes of your voters over here?
Not just say you're going to do it, announce it when you do it, and prove it to us that you've done it. But they're not willing to do that. I think the other thing is this appeasing to power. This is so old and so salty and so disgusting now that people know by now, and they should know by now, that this appeasing to power and aiming to get somewhere actually got us nowhere, based on understanding what this power structure is now. Like, all those years of appeasing to power, and Muslims, we have to get recognized, so we have to be like the Jews, and how the Jews got popular. And I mean, this is what you've been working for all these years. This is what it is right now.
Yeah,
it's AIPAC. That's how you know. That's where they got. You want to be like involved in something like Epstein? Well, that's how they did it. That's how the Zionists did it.
Yeah, you want to set up rings of underage kids?
That's just scratching the surface. That's just one portion of it.
How far do you want to follow the example of the Zionists?
Yeah, exactly. And do you have enough money to pay off all these politicians and do something haram and bribe all these people to make everything one-sided? Then it doesn't become about Islam anymore. It becomes nationalistic.
The concept of halal and haram has been thrown out the window a long time
but do you understand
ago.
The point I'm trying to make is? The point I'm trying to make is here that you kept on saying over and over, we have to be like how the Jews did it, how the Jews did it, how the Jews did it. What you actually were doing, what you actually didn't know, was you were trying to do what the Zionists did.
Yeah.
And how the Zionists got their grips on to power. Are you willing to make those same sacrifices and sell out your family and
Your
Some
religion?
are.
Your
Some
religion?
yeah, your religion
Some are.
and claim it's Islam, but it's
Some
not?
are because they want to. They think like by them doing that they're actually doing something good for the Muslims.
No, I know, and that's the scary part. So I think this is obviously meant to happen, and this has been a rude awakening for the whole world. And things are going in a certain direction where we think that we know where it's going. We have no idea. But what we can do is try our best to have fear of Allah and fear His ramifications and be mindful of Allah and do what's best for Allah's cause and for Islam, no matter what the ramifications are. Now, obviously, I'm talking really big right now. I haven't been tested at a really big level, but I hope when that test comes that I have brothers like this around me that don't let me slip and be like, you know what, man, just let it go. Just stop talking about this stuff.
Just take the money, Chef.
Just take the money. Stop talking about this stuff. You and your family are going to be jeopardized. What are you
Support
gonna do
the
about
show.
your
We need funds.
Support the show. The show must go on. But that's why we need to surround ourselves with good brothers and sisters, man.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I don't like bringing politicians on the show. We've been approached so many times for different congressmen and women who want to come on the show and talk to our community here in Chicago.
They're not allowed to be themselves.
It's not even, it's just a boring show, first of all.
Yeah.
It's like you're not going to talk openly, and you're not going to level with us. You're not going to be straight with us because you're going to lie to our face effectively. You're not going to talk about
It's part of being a politician.
the real issues that we're concerned about as far as Israel goes and the influence that AIPAC has on Congress. It's really telling. Like, did you hear that guy Matt Gaetz?
Yeah.
Matt Gaetz, he was supposed to be an appointee in the Trump administration.
He was nominated.
Yeah.
Then he had to withdraw.
He had to withdraw, but he was saying that after one of his elections, he came to his hotel room, and inside the hotel room, he didn't even know, like, this is the first time opening the hotel room to get settled in. He sees an AIPAC guy sitting there. How freaking creepy is that?
Yeah.
That they're
that's
right.
How much they infringe.
They have access to your hotel room, and they're waiting there to greet with you with a smile. That is creepy.
How is that different than all this scrutinizing of Russia and China infringing on your privacy? How is that any different? Just because it doesn't happen to you and I at that level, it does obviously on a data level, but on a very physical level, yeah, it happens. I mean, this is the democracy that everyone's been talking about. This is what they call democracy.
I mean, the idea that our uncles, we heard it at family parties all the time. Every one of us heard the same thing. We'll just follow the Jews. Look what the Jews did. Look what the Jews did. What you're talking about is what the Zionists did, actually.
Yeah.
And the Zionists did a lot of dirty things.
Very dirty.
Set up a whole island, a dragnet. Now it looks like Las Vegas is that island, where they're monitoring every prostitute who's visiting everywhere. And it's scary. Like, these guys are monitoring and setting up a surveillance system, not just for America. They're setting it up in Saudi Arabia. They're setting it up all across the Middle East. Yeah. That's why all these countries are working with Israel. This is why I'm telling people that it's not just, the Saudis are like, our hearts are actually with the Palestinians. They're cheering for Israel. Why? Because Israel's helping them root out their dissenters, the people who want the House of Saud to fall.
Yeah.
Or Sisi in Egypt, and so on. So because if you have a partner like Israel, you'll be able to find your enemies right when they're formulating their plan.
Yep.
Forget about actually worrying about your military.
Bingo. You said something really interesting that nobody talks about. Now, why is Saudi, during this conflict, sent weapons and funding so much to Israel? There's a lot of, I think just in August.
When?
August.
Actually, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
They asked them to send them, but Khadim al-Haramain al-Sharifain al-Malik Salman bin Abdul Aziz al-Saud and his crown prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, they refused it.
I don't know if that's accurate anymore.
It is accurate. They said no.
So the shipping company released a statement saying it's completely false.
This was actually during the Iran war, that the 11-day war that happened. They asked them to send some stuff over, and they said no.
No, you heard about the shipping company?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I heard about it, but I didn't read the details. Yeah. I read about it.
The shipping company denies it. They released a statement. It's a long-winded statement, but it doesn't make sense. Wow, they could have just said no, we didn't, but they went on with a page-long explanation about how they don't cooperate, and it just didn't seem like it was authentic because. The shipping company itself may not necessarily represent the Saudi government, but they could have been acting on behalf of.
I don't think they need to really ship anything to them. They can just send it to them through air or other means. I did not read the details.
There's
of the
a
story.
lot of I thought about that too, but there's a lot of logistical issues when it comes to, especially with the problems in the Red Sea and stuff.
Send it to UAE. They'll get it to them.
Yeah,
it's right there. It's right there.
Yeah. So
no, I'm glad you mentioned that. I want to make sure I read this correctly. On August 20th, there was an update on August 20th. But yeah, you guys keep going. I'm just gonna look up this article real quick.
I posted it in our group too.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else happening?
I don't think so. You guys have any other items you want to talk about? There was I gotta save this for our next show. But I think that's all. Do you have anything else, Jeff? You want to?
Yeah, no, I was trying to. Yeah, no. The reason why I said bingo is because the amount of surveillance and the amount of intelligence that Israel gives to the Gulf states.
Yeah.
Is very, very crucial and important. And it comes back to this point where these America First people, they're actually kind of fooled and blundered too, where they say that that Israel doesn't benefit America at all. It doesn't benefit anybody at all. No, it actually benefits in evil ways, but it does benefit them. It does benefit the Middle East. It does benefit Jordan and about uprisings and different types of issues that are intercepted based on their cybersecurity infringement and their hacking and their intelligence. And that's why I think not only is Saudi considering that they have to continue, one of the reasons why Saudi and all these countries need to make sure that Israel is good and safe is because it informs them on a very high level, right? Yeah. So we can't be fooled by that either, that our hearts are with maybe the general populace of the people, and that's something that you like to hear. You would love to hear that the crown prince says, our heart is with Palestine. Like, whew, all right, they're on our side. And that's exactly what they want the sentiment of the Muslims to be, because they don't want them to become enemies of people either.
Yeah.
They want to take care of them. They got handlers too. But anyways.
Anything else you want to finish off the show with, Sheikh?
No, I'm good. Alhamdulillah, man.
1 second. I want to see if I could talk about this one. Interesting. It was just I saw one very fascinating TikTok. I just wanted your guys' thoughts on it. How do you process it when you see this something like this? And so here's a. Oh, sorry. So there's this person on TikTok who's a they them type person. Actually, no, it says she her. She her is her pronouns at least, and they're reading the Quran and they're doing all kinds of explanation on what they think about it.
Salam alaikum. Welcome back to Quran Book Club, Surah 21, The Prophets, Part 2. Let's go. Verse 47, we will set up the scales of justice on the day of judgment So no soul will be wronged in the least. And even if a deed is the weight of a mustard seed, we will bring it forth. And sufficient are we as a vigilant reckoner. I just love that every little thing you did is in that book, babe. Every single little thing, babe.
What the?
Yeah. It don't matter how small. Oh, you took a quarter out of your mom's purse? But at the same time, it's like you picked up that worm and helped it cross the street so it didn't get run over. I just like that. It's like, we're taking notes. Every little thing. But, everything. Yeah. Loves to call it the pagans. Verse 50, and this Quran is a blessed reminder which we have revealed. Will you pagans then deny it? Also, who's we? Is that Muhammad and Allah? Who's we? Is that what he means by we, or is that like just a weird translation issue?
Painful, bro.
Let me know.
But what's wrong with it? She's trying to learn.
No, she's trying to learn.
He is trying to learn.
No.
And indeed, we have granted Abraham.
Her pronouns are she, her.
It's actually a dude, though.
No, it's a she.
That's not a lady, is it?
Bro, Sheikh, come on. Let's try to be sensitive.
I'm being serious, bro. How's that a lady?
Sheikh, come on. Hang on. There was another better one.
Anyways.
I think there's...
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Quran Book Club. We are in receiving the signs. Will these pagans then believe? No, they won't. They won't. Also, another question. This has nothing to do with Surah. I'm just asking a lot of questions. People are saying that Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the last prophet. Why is he the last prophet? Who said that? How do we know? It's been a long time. There couldn't be another prophet. Like, is it because we have the final word of God and like people have been reciting it, so there's no reason to send a new prophet? What if new information was to be revealed? Verse 30. Do the disbelievers not realize that the heavens and earth were once one mass, then we split them apart and split them apart? It references the Big Bang, but to me, I don't know if that sounds like the Big Bang. Maybe in Arabic it sounds more like the Big Bang, but to me, split them apart does not sound like the Big Bang. But this next one is crazy. And we created from water every little thing. Will they not then believe?
I'm trying to show here that there's things that are happening across social media through different individuals, different types of people that we never would have imagined interacting with the religion. You're seeing it live. She's learning the Quran and she's talking about it, even if it's like wrong, like even if her interpretation she doesn't have it all like figured out right away. It's kind of wild to see people that we would never imagine as Muslims.
But this person's actually not trolling; they're actually taking this seriously.
She's not trolling.
Yeah.
She's taking it seriously. She's trying to learn, and some of her, if you go through her videos, there are some really profound thoughts. Like, oh wow, she's actually doing some real reflecting, and she's trying to. She's saying like, hey, this Quran's like really feels like it's talking to me. I couldn't find the exact moment where that was, but
in the beginning, I thought it was a troll. My apologies.
No, it's Remember, there was that one Reddit group I was showing you guys where there was pagan veiling, where they're pagans but they wear the hijab. That was ridiculous, right? They don't believe in Islam, but these people are like legitimately trying to take Islam seriously, and they're trying to like be very sincere with it.
Yeah, remember that really popular YouTuber, that lady Rice, that African American lady? She became Muslim after doing something similar to this. You remember during Ramadan? Every day she was doing some update, and at the end of Ramadan she became Muslim. 2 years ago.
Where is this person located?
I don't know. Why? It's just a TikToker.
Yeah, but
like in the United States, what do you mean? Like what state?
It's an American.
Yeah, wherever she is.
Yeah.
I think the best thing is someone from the whatever community she's in, someone from the local masjid should reach out to her and invite her to talk to one of the scholars so he can answer some of the questions that she has.
Just have the scholar take care of. Maybe I don't want to trust any of our board members to go and talk to her.
No, a scholar.
Don't talk to our board.
Board members will be like, come to our Naperville fest.
Whoa. Why got the Naperville under the bus, bro? Just because it's one little thing.
No, come speak. You have the microphone.
Platforming her.
Bro, our uncles are wild, bro. They'll be like, anyone who gives them any attention, like, here's the microphone. You can speak.
They love us. We have to be like the Jews.
This is Dawa.
Sorry, our Sheikh Omar Haqqani is getting a little uncomfortable. We're going to stop now.
Yeah.
But Jaxie is her name, Jaxie.xo. If anyone with a brain actually wants to interact and give her some good nasiha and spend some time giving her dawa, hopefully she understands the religion in a better way.
Or even if they don't want to talk to her in person, just give her some resources that she can utilize instead of just reading the translation and using her mind to try to understand.
Yeah, that's one of the things. She's holding that copy of the Quran that it's like $1 or something. They give to like prisons. Those are, they don't give a whole lot of explanation on anything, right? So it doesn't. One of the things that I wish that there was a translated Quran with
some footnotes
for
non-Muslims to understand.
Yeah, I think the Furqan one, it does, right? I think it has footnotes.
It does, but they're minimal. When we have these types of events at the masjid, many people, they tell the people to pick up the Quran and read it. I have a slight disagreement with that. I think they should take the Quran, but they need some supporting literature with that. So I think one of the books which was very popular is Towards Understanding Islam. That's a good one.
Sheikh Abullah Maududi.
There's a few other ones that are.
So excited.
I love him, bro.
There's some other ones that are really good that can be used as read this first before you read that.
Yeah, but you know what? Actually, Gain Pieces, which was really cool. They gave me a bunch of those bags to give out to converts, where it has like the Quran has the explanations, 50 questions that people have.
Yeah, one of the book they have is the 50 questions. That's a really good.
That's a really good one. So you need to give a nice little package because some of those are really easy to read, so it doesn't not like you're giving the huge books. So that's really important. I think what you're saying is right. But the cool thing is with the Furqan, what ends up happening is, because I talked to some of these guys, they're like, you wouldn't imagine how many people come to Islam because of this, which is very cool. But I think what you're saying is to even improve that even more, further improve it. Is to have this English Quran with some supporting literature, which is very important because there's so many things in there they're going to end up Googling. And if you keep them busy with these books, I think I met a brother who became Muslim. He finished all those books within 6 months and he became Muslim, and then it like taught him about the Sunnah, taught him about Hadith. He knew like what questions to ask a scholar. So it kind of prepares you for that. And then there's a CD in there too. Yeah. People still use CDs, I guess. But, there's another one that came out. Remember what Sheikh Abdul Rahman came out with? What was the name of that again? I apologize.
I can't remember.
We had an episode with him, but yeah.
Brothers and sisters, thank you all for listening.
Before we close out, I'm very disappointed because we didn't open up the show by wishing our audience a happy 79th Independence Day on the 14th and the 15th, which was last week, for India and Pakistan Independence Day.
Happy Independence Day.
Huh. Yeah, happy Independence Day, I guess. Fine. Yeah. Which side? For which side? India or Pakistan, are you asking?
Well, do both.
Do both.
14th was Pakistan and 15th was India.
Okay, teak.
That's your audience. Respect your audience.
Okay. I will. Sorry, audience.
All right, brothers and sisters, thank you all for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, throw a comment in the comment section below. And help us out on patreon.com/the Mad Mamluks. Every little bit helps. We'll see you all next time. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I want their leader brought here. I want him brought to me. I want the revolution crushed.